Since we now understand the right terminology of logo design, we are now going to learn how to use AI to create logos. The AI tool we'll be using is Nano Bananas, which is available to all free and paid users of Google Gemini. Nano Banana refers to Gemini's built-in image generation capabilities. It allows Gemini to create and refine images through natural conversational prompts, using text, images, or a combination of both. This enables you to design, edit, and iterate on visuals with an exceptional level of control and flexibility. We'll cover 3 flexible techniques to create logos. In the first technique, we'll use an open-ended prompt that gives more control to AI for design direction. Then, in the second technique, we'll use logo brief along with the prompt in a multimodal approach. And finally, we'll use sketch and the prompt approach. So let's get started. To access Google Gemini, first head over to gemini.google.com and then use your Google account to log in. You may already have a Google account if you're using Gmail or YouTube. If not, then just sign up with Google and then log in. You'll be able to use Gemini on web, Android, and iOS. We'll be using the web version throughout the course. As of 2026, if you're a student, you can check with the university if it is providing a free Gemini Google Pro account. However, to use Nano Bananas, you don't strictly need a paid account. You can continue with the free version with limitations on image quality. Once you're logged in, you'll see this chat interface. This chat interface is the only interface that you'll need to create any kind of visuals in Google Gemini. So let's quickly go through it. On the left hand side within the side panel, you will see 2 icons. First one is for expanding the side panel itself, and the other icon is for starting a new chat. At the center, you have the chat window with your name and an input area. We'll cover the relevant functions of input area as we go further in the course. First, let's expand the side panel. On expanding the side panel, at the very top is the search icon, which can be used to search for historic chats. Then just below that, first main section has 4 options, which are temporary chat, new chat, gems, and my stuff. New chat starts a fresh conversation from scratch for a new topic or project. Temporary chat opens a private incognito session that won't be saved in your history or used for training. Gems are custom AI experts you can build and save for specific repetitive tasks. And then finally, My Stuff is a central hub to access your saved files, generated images, and uploaded documents. The second section of side panel includes all your chats in a list format. If you hover on any one of them, you will see option icon, which gives you access to chat options. These options include share conversation, pin to bookmark your most important conversations so that they stay at the very top of the side panel for quick access. After pin, there are options to rename and delete the chat. Finally, the third section of the side panel at the very bottom is settings and help. Since these options are not required in our context, we won't be going through them. You can, however, check them out if you prefer. Now let's begin creating our first logo. As I mentioned earlier, that we'll be using 3 main techniques to create our logos. The first technique is an open-ended approach where AI has more control over the direction of the logo design. In the second technique, we'll use a prompt along with the attached brief so that we have a more constrained approach to designing with AI. And finally, for the third technique, we'll be using images along with prompts. This helps us to get visuals from AI that are closer to our vision. Now, before I begin with the first technique, I want to tell you something about AIs. In general, all the AI systems that we see today have a specific characteristic to them, and that characteristic is in technical terms called a black box, which means whatever prompt we give to AI, we don't know what kind of results we can actually expect, although we can see its reasoning. But the process with which it gives us the final output is not in our control. This is why I want to show you 3 different techniques so that you can understand at what level we can control the output and at what level we cannot. So let's begin with the first prompt and create our first iteration for the logo for the brand Aura, which is a premium orange juice brand. Firstly, to create an image with AI, you must explicitly specify the exact output format you're looking for. Alternatively, you can click this Tools button and then click Create Image, which you can see has an icon of a banana, and this banana stands for Nano Bananas. In addition to images, you have other options as well, but those are out of the scope for this course. We can then either click create image or also select create image from the suggestions just below the input field. We can click this create image as well, and then it is going to give you additional suggestions as to what sort of prompts you can give to AI to create your images. So we'll not be using this. Instead, we'll give our own prompt. And for that, we'll use this prompt. Create a logo for a premium orange juice brand. This prompt is a very open-ended suggestion to AI. We are giving more control to AI as to come up with its own ideas for the logo. Because we are not specifying as to what type of logo we need, what kind of styling we need, what kind of typography we are looking at, what kind of colors we are looking at, we're leaving all those decisions to AI. This is why it is a more open-ended approach. This is great when we want to ideate from scratch. So let's press enter and see what AI comes up with. Click submit button, or you can press enter as well. There we have it. AI came up with this highly elaborate logo type. This is something that we may not like or we may like. However, if you want to know something about logos, logos are generally kept as simple as possible. So therefore, I don't like this approach. And from here on, I can start directing the flow of my logo type. For example, I like the structuring of the logo, but I don't like heavy coloring and the typography. So I can specify exactly what changes I need to make in this logo. And to achieve that, I'm using this prompt. Keep the same structure for the logo, remove subtitle, and use minimal color profile. This way, I'm directing AI towards my optimal vision and optimal iterations that I want it to do. Press enter. Alright, it has removed the subtitles, but it has still not changed the color profile, which means now I need to specify exactly what sort of colors I need to add. To make further changes, I'm giving additional instructions. Keep the same structure and use black and orange tones for ultra minimal look. No gradients and shadows required. I have observed this logo and then decided that I don't want any shadows or any gradients so that we don't have this 3D look. As you can see now, I'm controlling the flow of my logo design just by using the prompts. Creating my logo one prompt at a time, which also gives me more control. Let's press enter to see further refinement. That's great. Now the logo structure is same, but the shadows and colors have been removed. If you notice the weights of the circles, font type, and the illustration for the orange throughout our iterations. So you can see how much control you get with Nano Bananas. Going further, we are now going to disrupt the flow of AI. We are going to ask AI to give us a completely different variation of the logo. For that, we'll use this prompt. Discard current logo direction. Create the logo in new direction. Again, this prompt is open-ended. We are leaving the decision making of the specifics of the logo to AI itself. But then, only thing we want to do, we want to see a new variation. Once we have the new variation, then you will be further able to iterate on that logo using the prompt technique we just learned right now. Let's press enter to see what new logo direction AI takes. There we have it. We have a completely new design for the logo. Now, I wanted to remove the circles around the logo. For that, I'm going to use this prompt. Keep the same structure, but remove the outer circle and replace orange color with gradient of orange and yellow. Also, update the font type to all caps sans serif. So there are 3 instructions I want AI to implement on this particular logo direction. Let's press enter and see the results. Our logo is now precisely designed as we had instructed it. This incremental approach to prompting with Nano Bananas gives you unprecedented control. Now it's time to move on to the second technique, where we're going to use logo brief in addition to prompting and see what else Gemini and Nano Bananas is capable of. Now for the second technique, in which we're going to use brief and a prompt, I'll be starting a new chat. And that is because we want the AI to have a completely fresh perspective. There is a positive and a negative of creating a new chat or continuing with the existing chat. If you want the AI to retain the context and want to continue working within that context, it is better to continue in the same chat. If you want a fresh perspective or you want the AI to start from scratch, it's always better to start a new chat. And for that, I'm simply going to click New Chat, and the shortcut is Ctrl-Shift-O. As I mentioned earlier, in Technique 2, we'll be attaching a logo brief. And the method of attaching files with prompts is called multimodal approach. Multimodal simply means that in addition to text prompts, you're also attaching other file. It could be a Word file, it could be a PDF file, it could be an image file as well. We do this to give AI some reference points. In our case, that reference point is the logo brief. To attach any file in chat window for Google Gemini, I'm going to click this plus button. And from here, I can choose either to upload file or add from Drive. Since I have my Google Drive by default linked to Google Gemini, I'm going to select a file from Google Drive. And then from here, I'm going to select one particular file, which is logo brief. Once the file is selected, I'm going to click Insert. Now my file is attached. Up next, it's time to give the prompt. What exactly is going to be the prompt? We are not going to ask AI to create a logo based on the logo brief. Because what happens with Google Gemini, when you attach any file and ask it to create image by referring that file, it will not create the image. Therefore, we need to first extract the context from that reference file. Since we are making a logo, I'm going to ask AI based on the logo brief, suggest me 3 styles for my logo. So let's write that prompt. So the prompt we are going to use, based on the logo brief attached, suggest me 3 logo styles. It's plain simple. Click Submit. After processing, AI has given us suggestions. So it has given 1, 2, and 3 suggestions. We could also ask for more if we have to. So what are those suggestions based on the brief? The minimal sun, iconic and organic. What is the explanation for the concept? A sleek minimalist sun icon, perhaps a single golden circle or a series of radiating lines, paired with modern airy typography. Vibe, professional, gold standard and refreshing. Design elements, fine lines and plenty of white space to signal the pure and natural qualities of the brand. Let's quickly go through the second option also so that we can later see how actually it implements these ideas on its own. The second context is the modern citrus, organic and vibrant. This direction focuses on the vibrant citrus energy and organic elements mentioned in the brief. The concept, an abstract organic shape representing a citrus slice or a stylized drop of juice integrated subtly with the letter O. And what are the design elements? Soft, rounded edges and a warm color palette to evoke the feeling of ultimate summer hydration. All in all, what we have seen so far is that based on the logo briefs, as we know earlier, is a client's requirement. So it is processing those client's requirements and giving us visual ideas that we ask from it in a more concise way that we can also use to communicate with our clients when we finally present them the logos. Based on these suggestions, we're going to create the logo for each. To do that, simply I'm going to write create a logo for concept 1. Select tools and click create image. Press enter. So the logo is in. What does the concept actually read? Let's reread it again quickly. A sleek minimalist sun icon. So it is minimal and it is a sun icon. And it's a close representation of a sun. And a series of radiating lines paired with modern airy typography. So there we have it. Airy means light. So that's what it meant. So it has created that exact concept. Now let's repeat the process for the next concept. Simply copy and paste. And instead of concept 1, I'm going to type in 2. So now you have a completely different look for the logo. Let's go through the idea of concept 2. An abstract organic shape representing citrus slice or a stylized drop of juice integrated subtly with the letter O. Let's see if it's able to do that. Yes, it is able to do that as well. Now let's envision the idea number 3. Let's go through the theory of this concept quickly. Concept 3. For a more high-end premium feel, stylized lines on the strength of a brand name itself. So it is using type and the name as a logo itself, which is also a word mark type logo. So now you know how to extract information from logo brief, which is a client requirement, and then proposing different ideas to your clients, or even for your own self if you want to do that. But creating a logo in AI is just half the story. And the other half of the story is that we need to create production ready assets, which we'll cover in detail once we have gone through AI techniques. We'll learn how to extract images from AI and convert them into vector graphics so that you have more control on creation of these logos. Now it's time to move on to the next technique, where we're going to use the image and the prompt to create the logo for us. In my new chat window, I'm going to first insert or attach an image. Just as we attached a file using the plus icon, you can either upload a file from your computer or use it from Drive. Alternatively, you can also copy paste images and files. Right now in my clipboard, I have a sketch of an orange. I'm going to paste this image in the input area by pressing Ctrl V. Ctrl C is copy, Ctrl V is paste. Very simple. Based on this sketch, I'm going to ask AI to create me a logo that creates a colored variation of the sketch and also use typography to write the name for my brand, which is Aura. So the prompt I've given is create logo based on the sketch for my brand Aura. We have again not given any specific details that we want to see. We just want AI to use the sketch and create the logo for the brand Aura, keeping the direction for color profile and typography open-ended at the discretion of AI. Let's press enter. So alright, so the logo is in. Let's review it quickly and compare it with the sketch. And you can see how easily it was able to replicate the same image or the same sketch. This gives you great power. Just by using your pencil or paper, you can create any shape and then bring it to AI to give it a final look in just seconds. Although the typography and the image is slightly off, but we do have the final image. Furthermore, we can do iterative prompting to further adjust the visuals of our logo. Let's say I want this entire image in black and white. For that, I've given a simple prompt which says create this logo in black and white. There we have it. Our logo is now in black and white, keeping the same detailing and visual styling that was originally on the sketch. So now we have learned 3 powerful techniques, but it doesn't end here. I'm going to show you another trick. If you're on a paid version, you can click more options icon here and then select redo with Pro. What it does, it re-attempts the logo, but with the Pro version of Nano Bananas. I'm going to click redo with the Pro. Alright, so now it is given a new styling altogether, but also has retained the shape. And it's quite interesting because the new shape has more personality to it, or slightly more characteristics. And notice how effectively it is using the negative space to convey the shape of the orange and the overlapping leaf. Now we have covered all the 3 techniques. Up next, we're going to go a little bit advanced. We're going to leverage existing AI assets and then create prompts. Once the prompts are created, we're going to alter the prompts to get different outcomes. Now we're going to learn how to develop detailed prompts with which we can control the outcome from AI. In order to access assets that I have created earlier, I'm going to click on my stuff on the left hand side panel. And then from here, I'm going to select one of the assets that I'm interested in. Let's try this one. Prompting is simply a technique where we provide specific details to AI to create whatever we want from it. For that, I'm going to write this simple prompt. Write me a detailed prompt for this logo. Enter. There we have it. Now we have a complete set of details or characters or words that we can continue to use with AI. So let's copy this prompt and see the results. In order to copy, you can simply double click on the text or click this icon which says copy response. Once the text is copied in my clipboard, I'm going to paste it in the input area and press enter. Of course, as we expected, the results are now consistent. But then you also might notice that there are certain differences. It is not the exact replica, however, there are minor differences. But overall, the look and feel remains the same. The minor differences are simply because of the fact that we spoke earlier, which is called the black box of AI. When AI processes any data, we really don't know what will be the outcome that AI is going to give us. It is only that we can control it as much as possible with the help of prompts. Let's paste this prompt again and make some minor changes. In this case, I'm going to simply ask it to change the name of the brand. So let's call it O Juice. And let's see what AI comes with. Press enter. Again, the results are almost similar, but only the name has now been changed. So that's how you can control the outcome from AI. Now we're going to try the same prompt in a different window. If you continue developing an asset within the same chat window with AI, you're going to get consistent results. And if you go to new window, the context is going to change. This is why when we have detailed prompts, they can help us to get similar look and feel when we change the context to the new window or a new chat. Let's copy this prompt in a new chat. Open new chat and paste and enter. There we have it. There are slight variations, however, the look and feel has remained the same. This is important to know that you cannot have exactly the same results for all the assets that you create with AI. There will always be variations. The only thing is that you can control the look and feel as much as possible with the help of detailed prompts. And you can simply extract detailed prompts once you are happy with the outcomes that you have developed by using one of the three techniques we learned earlier, including open-ended approach, suggestive approach, and the sketch approach. Overall, to conclude logo design with AI, the key important thing to remember is that you can only control the outcome of AI to a certain degree, and then you don't even need to know prompting in detail as long as you're aware of technical terms and how to play around with them, so that every time you engage with AI, you get the nearest possible result. Now, since we have learned how to develop logos with AI, this is just the half the story. Another half is the production ready assets, because you as a graphic designer would want to be able to create these assets into production ready assets so that they can be used in different kinds of environments, including digital and offline.